Update now to a story that we broke yesterday on WLNS.com.
That's after the East Lansing Council drew up plans to oust the city manager after more than a decade on the job.
They pulled the trigger last night, but less than 24 hours later, questions remain about why it happened and why it happened now.
So we asked 6 News reporter Nate Salazar to take a closer look at what happened. He did talk with the mayor, and he's here for you with what he found out. Nate?
Sherry and Siobhan, I spent my day outside East Lansing City Hall waiting to hear from city council officials and the mayor about yesterday's surprise ousting. And when the time came to speak, many of the questions on the minds of community members, they went unanswered.
This isn't about some type of big controversy or anything like that. It's a different direction.
I think at this time, both parties agreed we wanted to go in a little bit different direction.
East Lansing city officials tell me moving on from city manager George Lahannis is part of their new direction, but they haven't said what direction that is. The vote to get rid of Lahannis was unanimous. His replacement announced at the same meeting, but officials from East Lansing Info, whose main job it is to follow city government, said it wasn't a surprise move.
The contract had to have been in the works for at least a few weeks because you can't come up with a contract like that out of the blue.
And with a separation pay of more than $200,000, Drager says the decision may have come now because they knew they could.
Because they knew they had the votes, there was probably going to be very little controversy. At most, it was going to be a 3-to-1 vote rather than a 3-to-2 vote. There's an expression, if you're going to shoot the king, you've got to kill the king.
Drager says it may have been about the money.
East Lansing ranks very low compared to other cities in the state with regard to management of its debt. The pension problem is a real problem in East Lansing, and council has been indicating that they're unhappy with that. You know, Lahannis has had 10 years to deal with those issues.
Or the separation could have to do with a lack of stability, as most other departments only have acting directors. But when I asked city officials if they would elaborate on these reasons, I was met with the same answer.
I do not. No.
Understood.
I don't think you.
But we'll talk about it down the road.
Well, East Lansing Info officials also tell me that the only time they think that we'll get those answers is when they start interviewing people for the city manager position. That's when we will hear what their concerns really were. Sherry and Siobhan, back to you.
All right, Nate, thank you.